So there's just like a couple realizations I found, you know, through thinking and being aware of, what is going on. And it's it's just a little realization of how things work in general. It's not, anything specific. However, you know, I do feel like when it comes to life, when it comes to everything that, we experience and everything that we, go through, it is very important to always be aware that nothing that we do is outside of us, right? It's never really a situation where life is just against us, or a situation where stuff just happens to us. It's I like to believe that everything that happens and starts from you. I don't really want to act like it's something that happens as a result of your circumstance, right? Of course, circumstances influence, right? But at the end of the day, it will always start from you, It will always start from you. It's the whole idea is nothing is really constant, nothing is really real, nothing is really what it appears to be. And I do feel like it's very important to understand how energy works. It's very important to me to understand how this works, right? Because it's a very interesting idea. It's also linked with frequency, because it's like, if you really think about it, nothing that we ever see or experience or go through in life is just like on its own. It doesn't just exist for no reason. It always springs up from pretty much these two. Like, this is pretty much what creates our reality, right? Your frequency or energy, if that's how you want to put it, right? And the way I see it, everything is frequency, everything is energy. Places are energy, people are energy, things are energy. Every single thing you see around us is energy. And the reason why this is so important is because we need to understand the foundation of what we're dealing with when we talk about our reality or the world we live in. Because once you start realizing everything is energy, you stop putting anything or your circumstance outside of who you are. And what that basically means is this, as there's laws of the universe. Energy can never be created, it can never be destroyed. It can only be transferred from one to another. And the whole idea of that is there's always a flow of energy in the whole world, in the world we live in. Energy is constantly flowing. Or frequencies. I think it's better to use energy, right? So it's like it's constantly going, it's constantly flowing from time to time, which is why we can never really stay happy, we can never really stay sad, we can never really stay in this particular state of mind for ever. We always have our limits to our emotions, and things change because energy flows, right? So basically, what this means is, when it comes to a lot of things in life, this is the foundation: energy. If you want to talk about income, for example, we want to talk about money, we want to talk about state of mind. There's some people making like $10,000 a month. There's also people making $100,000. There's a difference between these two people, and like I said, if you remember, everything's just energy, everything's frequency. Let's say this is the person making 100K, For example, this is the one making 10,000. If you really look at this, right, they are the same. There's no difference between the makeup of, this is all frequency. There's no difference between these two people. It's just that they are different frequencies. The only difference is they are flowing at different energy rates. And what that means is the person making 100 and the person making 10, the person that is seeing a cash flow of this much money each month is energetically tapped into a state of mind where they are not only gaining that much money, but they're also losing money that's worth gaining this, right? Before I even try to even go there, it's also necessary to understand that money is also energy. So at the end of the day, this is a very good example to use. In order for you to gain money, someone is losing money. In order for someone to lose money, someone is gaining your money. So if you lose your money, it's going somewhere and someone is gaining that money, but you also lost your money. The whole idea is there's different sectors of this, right? So look at it like this. For the person dealing with 10K a month, what they lose their money to is different than what the person earning 100 is losing their money to. That's pretty much a simple idea of how it works. So if the money is being lost at this point, at this end of, this is where money is being lost, this is where money is being gained, right? You will notice the person with 10K loses money less and loses money differently as compared to someone with 100K. So yeah, that's kind of, you could always go deeper and understand, but it's kind of like a simple idea. And if you really go out to understand, how it works in also different areas of life, you would see that the only difference between anybody and anything or anyone is the frequency that they're at. People are not bad. There's no such thing as a bad person. There's no such thing as a good person. There's only frequencies. And the whole idea is there's a reason why someone who could be considered bad before can now be considered good. There's a reason why someone can be bad to you, but to another person they're very good, right? It's the whole idea of the frequency that they emit when they're around you. And of course, those frequencies, if you're unaware, it's a response, it's a natural response to, their reality. The way you treat someone is not the way you're going to treat another person. So if you really think about it, who really are you? You're not really someone who is good or bad. You're not really someone who is this or that. You're just someone who unconsciously chooses the frequency they choose to be at. And the reason it's necessary to know this is so that you stop putting the physical things on the pedestal, the physical reality, the stuff you see around, the stuff you desire to have. Anything that isn't you, you stop putting on the pedestal, because at the end of the day, you are just a reflection of what you like, what you don't like. You're just a reflection of your reality, is just a reflection of who you are. What you have, what you own, what you feel is just a reflection of what's going on here, right? So yeah, this is just like the simple idea of, it's kind of like the basis of how life works. It's just pretty much energy, and some other examples you could use is there's a difference between a business owner that, for example, okay, let me use an example like, okay, let's say someone who owns a mall, right? Someone who owns, like for example, Dubai Mall, versus someone who owns, a mall in Nigeria, right? If you look at the way the system works, there's a difference between these two, not as individuals, but as frequencies, right? The one who owns a mall in Dubai is in a different mind state and mind space than the one who owns one in Nigeria. Basically, what this means is the person who owns a business in Nigeria could internally shift to a state of mind where they are worthy of owning, a mall in Dubai, right? And it's really frequency, which is why we have low income countries, high income countries. I don't really want to get into the history of how countries work or why there's low income or low development countries, but everything is just frequency. If you look around you, the things that aren't good, poor people, rich people, middle class people, it's all frequency. The only reason why we have poor people that made it out the hood or made it out the trenches is because they always felt like it was possible. They never, you can't doubt yourself when you're doing that type of thing, because it's like the second you know it's possible, your frequency is different from the average poor person, because the average poor person looks at life like it's dealing with them. They look at life like, oh my god, it's so unfair. They never really look at what they're doing. They more of look at the government is this, is that, which is understandable. They do blame the government, blame a lot of stuff, but if you really think about it, if they had all the money they wanted, they had the life they wanted, they would not give two fucks about the government. Like, they wouldn't care. They would not care about what the government is doing or what rich people have going on or how selfish rich people are or how evil. Like, they wouldn't care if they really had all the money they wanted. So it's just an unconscious victim blaming behavior that they have, and it's a frequency. They are not the issue is the frequency, because at the end of the day they can always change their frequency and start looking at life differently. So yeah, it's just a little rant, it's just a little understanding, a little realization I made, and yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say. So yeah.